Hey guys, OG Albina here, bringing you guys my APA Clash of Kings Week 1 game. Now, the APA is actually doing an event that's very DPL inspired. It's kind of modeled, a team tournament based off of DPL, but opposed to doing SM, standard tiers and ORAS draft. It's actually going to be 3 different categories. It's just standard Sun and Moon, Gen 7 draft. Then it's low tier, which is tier 3 and below with some exceptions basically, and Little Cup actually. And I actually did end up getting drafted in the auction by the Bug Bite Rose to actually pretty much play solely Little Cup, which is completely fine with me. I love playing Little Cup, and it's a metagame I want to get a lot better at and continue to hone my skills there. So I figured this was a really good opportunity to play against really good players and kind of test my skills in Little Cup draft and stuff like that. So we are playing week 1 here against BabyEric. He is a part of the Goondocks team, which is captained by our good buddy Jacob as always, and I believe Phantom Base is their co-captain, I want to say. Yeah, he is. But we are playing we are playing Little Cup this week. Quick little rundown of our team, just so you have a little bit of context behind the sets. We're running like a Shed Shell, really Spadef Magnemite with Rest Talk. This is kind of a mix between being able to be Berry Juice and have longevity to check that Wingull, because this is really my best switch into Wingull. We live a Life Orb Hurricane into a Life Orb Scald, which is great. 100% of the time we live that. But we also cannot be trapped by that Diglett, which is definitely a pretty gross combination. Wingull plus Diglett is really terrifying for our team to deal with. So I didn't want to be trapped by that at all. And then Rest Talk still gives me that longevity that Berry Juice would. Not as good, but it's still an option at the very least. Next up, we have a very Spadef bulky Choice Scarf for Generator Mianjfu. I believe we always live a hit from Houndour after Rocks. He did have that on his roster. He didn't actually end up bringing it, which really did surprise me because I did not switch into that Mon's dual stabs whatsoever. But we'll definitely take it. It's still a good revenge killer in this game, still a good Choice Scarfer if I can get rid of that Muna. High Jump Kick's pretty spammable versus team. I guess there is, a couple resists, but Wingull isn't really a resist. It's still a really frail mon, especially if not invested into. Oddish I'm not too worried about because we have a Stunky in the back, which switches in on like 100% of the time as long as we know he's not Sleep Powder or something like that. Next up, we have a Squirtle, which is going to be kind of our hazard control this week to keep rocks away. Keeping rocks away to potentially keep us sturdy on Magnemite and, keep our health on Doduo is really, really important in this game. We have Skull just to do general damage to his team, catch burns and stuff like that. Hidden Power Electric, because this is kind of a secondary check to the Wingull, which is really nice. And then we have Aqua Jet just to pick mons off. We can Voltorb heavily, and then if we can be Diglett a little bit, we actually can pick off those guys. It's also our main Kabuto check, which can be pretty scary. I faced like a Rain Dance, Swift Swim Kabuto and a Mach, and it was terrifying, but Squirtle was able to check it pretty well, which is nice. Next up, we have one of our win cons, which is going to be our Stunky. We're rocking out with a Life Orb mix set, Haze, Sucker Punch, Sludge Bomb, Crunch. Max speed, we outspeed pretty much everything on his team barring like Diglett and Voltorb, but with a little bit of chip, we kill those guys with Sucker Punch, and then Sludge Bomb Crunch hits his team really, really hard. Otherwise, the Haze is for the Muna. I was really scared of a Dual Dance Muna. If I didn't bring Stunky, that Mon could have honestly just 6-0'd me, so I figured having that Haze option would be really nice. I contemplated going Taunt over it, but if it gets boosted a bunch somehow beforehand, I want to be able to haze away those boosts before opposed to just taunting it, where I can still, dish out a bunch of damage to my team. So I figured having that haze was a really good option here. And like I said, with a little bit of chip on things like Kabuto and getting up rocks ensures that we knock out things like Diglett after rocks with our Sucker Punch, and slowly chips that Voltorb into range as well. So this thing can definitely win in the end game if we get sufficient chip on his mons. Next up is our other win con this week, which is going to be Doduo, rocking out with the Berry Juice just to help with our longevity and stuff like that. I don't think we were Runaway. I think we were actually Tangled. We were Early Bird, just so in case we wanted to switch into a Sleep Powder from the Oddish. But rocking out with Swords Dance, Quick Attack, Jump Kick, Brave Bird. If we can get up rocks in the Swords Dance, this mon just wins. We have Jump Kick for the Kabuto. Everything else does not appreciate Brave Bird or Quick Attack at all. If we get +2, we knock out a bunch of his team with Quick Attack. We need a little bit of chip on Voltorb. We can knock that thing out. A little bit of chip on the Diglett. We can knock that thing out. And after rocks, we actually knock out the Wingull as well with +2 Quick Attack. So if we get a little bit of chip on his mons, we Brave Bird and Jump Kick the slower stuff, and we Quick Attack the faster stuff, and we could potentially win with our Doduo right here, which is great. Then lastly, we have a pretty cool Sandy Guest set here, rocking out with the Pachot Berry, Earth Power, Hidden Power Electric, Stealth Rock, Shadow Ball. The Pushobear plus 40 special attack EVs in the modest nature allows us to pretty much always knock out the Wingull with Hidden Power Electric. It allows us to pretty much get rocks up on anything on his team, barring maybe Oddish can knock us out if he's super offensive. But other than that, we get rocks on literally everything, and rocks are essential if we want to break a potential sash on the Diglett or the Kabuto or even the Wingull or something like that. Any of his sash mons, we definitely want to break sturdy on them just so we can win with our Doduo or our Stunky in the late game, which is kind of the end game plan here. So yeah, jumping into this match, I am going to lead off with my Sandy Gas. I can get up rocks, like I said, on pretty much anything minus Oddish. If he does lead off with Oddish, I can switch into my Magnemite event initially in case he wants to go for a Sleep Powder and then pivot into Stunky, as he is going to end up leading off with the Diglett, which is completely fine with me. I live any one hit from this thing regardless, unless he's like Darkinium Z Sucker Punch, but he's actually going to reveal to be Z Ground, which we actually do end up living, and we're going to be able to get up our rocks. Now this thing isn't Sash, so it doesn't matter as much, but being able to get it up for his other Sash mons that he might potentially have as a back is really important, as he's going to elect to get up his rocks himself this next turn, which is great for me, because I'm going to get a big chunk off on this Diglett, as he does end up knocking out the Rock Slide, but I have a Squirtle in the back that comes in and spins on this thing freely. Being that he pops Z, he doesn't knock us out with anything, and our Berry Juice will bring us back up to full to where you can still check the Wingull and stuff like that. So I am going to go for the Rapid Spin. He makes a hard switch into Voltorb. Very aggressive play in case we went for the Scald, but very good play nonetheless. We don't have our check to this thing anymore, so it's very scary. I'm going to switch into Magnemite. He's going to go for the Volt Switch, take a little bit of chip, and being that he's Life Orb, he's going to slowly chip himself down to where he's in range of our priority on our team. But right here, I'm going to reveal the Shed Shell, switch out on this Diglett. He's going to go for the Earthquake, thinking he has us trapped. We're going to get right back up to full on this Diglett. Now right here, this turn, I am just going to go for the Scald. I go for the Scald expecting him to maybe want to switch out into Oddish, preserving this thing to potentially get up Rocks Leader when my Squirtle goes down, or, you know, something like that. But he's actually going to reveal the Protect right here, and as I do go for the Scald. Now this kind of creates a little bit of mind games. This might make him think I don't actually have the Aqua Jet. If I didn't go for it this turn, why would I want to take a bunch of chip on my Diglett right here? So I'm actually going to go for it this next turn, expecting him to try and get off a big Earthquake chip on me, or something like that, or maybe even getting up his rocks and then going into something that pressures me out, forcing me to not be able to spin versus his team. So I am going to go for the Aqua Jet, thinking he might stay in. He does end up staying in, which is phenomenal. We're able to knock out that Diglett, keeping away rocks on our side for the remainder of the game, unless his Kabuto is also carrying them, which is great. He's going to go into Voltorb, but like I said, he's slowly getting very chipped down versus our team. I am going to go into my Magnemite. It's not super useful in this game. We've taken a lot of chips, so we don't check the Wingull as well. He's going to reveal either the Hidden Power Fire or Ground. I believe he knocked us out either way. But he's going to take out our Magnemite. That's completely fine, though. I can go into my Mienfoo, and my play right here is to click Knockoff. Knockoff 2-8 KO'd pretty much everything on his team, besides very bulky Oddish and Kabuto, but he's never going into Kabuto on me, as he does go into the Muna, which is great. I'm going to be able to 2-8 KO this thing, which is awesome, because this is one of the main kind of roadblocks to my Doduo potentially winning this game as well. As right here, he's going to go to the Oddish, and my play right here is to stay in and click Knockoff again, being that if I chip this thing down, or if he wants to put anything to sleep, I'd rather it be my Mienfoo over anything else on the team, because then I can go hard into Stunky and then click a button and basically claim a kill. But he's actually going to reveal to be Scarf. As I knock off his Scarf, he goes for the Moonblast, he gets a crit, and he knocks us out. Now this looks pretty bad for us, being that I lost my Mienfoo, because it was pretty good in this endgame. This Oddish was really chipped, and it wasn't bulky, so I could have just potentially high jump kick swept him at the end of the game here. But it's actually going to give me a free switch into my Doduo, which I wouldn't have previously had. Now right here, I did some calcs, and if he was max special attack modest, Sludge Bomb needed an absolute max roll to knock us out. It was a 6.3% chance, and that's a risk I'm kind of willing to take at this point, because if I get up a Swords Dance, he goes for the Sludge Bomb, I get my Berry Juice back, and then I win the game at this point, because everything's in range. I got rocks up for the Kabuto. As long as I hit my jump kick, I'll be able to knock it out. So it gives me a free switch into Doduo, which is something I couldn't really set up on anything else on his team at this point. So this is the opportunity that I was waiting for. He does actually pull a hard switch out into his Kabuto, not even trying to knock me out at this point, as I do get up a free Swords Dance. And provided I hit this jump kick, I should win this game at this point. He's going to go for the Aqua Jet just to get some chip. I go for the jump kick. I'm able to knock out the Kabuto, and this game's pretty much sealed at this point. He's going to go into the Voltorb, kind of hoping I don't have Quick Attack, but I do reveal the Quick Attack. We're able to knock it out. Aftermath is actually going to pop, bring me back up to full. I was more so worried about Static, because if he was Static, he potentially would have been able to beat me due to Parahacks and stuff like that. But he's going to go into the Wingull. He needed like an absolute mineral to live that quick attack right there, and then he's going to go into the Oddish. I'm going to be able to knock it out with Brave Bird, and we're going to pick up a nice 3-0 dub. Now, this game was a lot of fun. GG's to my opponent. He definitely played the game well. I was really, really nervous for this game. I've never played in a team tournament or anything like this before, so there's actually a lot of pressure that goes into it, because you want to do well not only for yourself to, you know, prove that you're good at the game and you're worth being drafted and stuff like that, but also because you have other people that are depending on you to win for their team to do well. So definitely a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to playing next week, potentially in the weeks after, and hopefully doing well for my team and stuff like that. This was our first one of the week. I believe we lost our first game, unfortunately, but this tied up the score. I'm recording this as the week's games are being played, so I don't know the end score of week 1 and all that stuff, but I'll probably talk about it in my next vid when I do, you know, upload my next game and stuff like that. But yeah, again, GG's to my opponent. Lots of fun, and thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Later.